Hey guys, welcome back. It is your favorite Gimp with the Limp, and I'm here with just a quick example playthrough of Donnerschlag by Volca Simulations. So make sure you watch the overview video that I did before this, where we went over all the components and stuff like that, and the pieces and how the rules play, all the good stuff. Definitely like the game, fun stuff, interesting. Like I gave a comparison, and some people actually didn't like my comparison. To me, it feels like a lighter version of enemy action ardents, and that's just my feeling that I get from it. But obviously, this is not solitaire, so don't take that component from it. This does have some hidden stuff to it that basically I'm just choosing to ignore for the solitaire playability of it. So it's nowhere near as soloable as something like enemy action, but it's nowhere near as difficult either, okay? Now, before we get going, something I did want to show right here in the rule book, it goes over the units, right? The armies, who they're attached to, all that good stuff, right? So you want to make sure and eyeball this real quick, because you'll see, like, where's one of the cards? Got the first hands. All right, so here where it says Romanian infantry, you see that's going to be these two guys, all right? So like the 6th and 7th Corps here. That's going to be what you're going to be activating with that card. So it wouldn't include the I have no idea what that's supposed to be. So someone tell me how to pronounce that. The great poo-poo down here, the cavalry divisions, obviously. But just in case you're looking at it, because there are some, motorized infantry divisions down in with these guys. So some people might look at it and go, oh, well, can I activate them too? No. And the color matches, right? So you can see there it's going to apply to these guys. And then obviously the rest of the units, the red army here, and the little orangish army here as far as the Soviets are concerned. All right, so remember also we've got our sequence of play here on the side. A lot of this first stuff does not apply as far as the very first turn goes. And it reminds you on the backside on the extended sequence of play, showing you all the good stuff. Because before the game gets started, you're already going to have dealt out your hands of cards and all that good stuff. So you can really just pick in with the action phase here, which is going to be actually activating your units, doing all that cool stuff. Now, what concessions am I making to play this solitaire? What I'm going to do, since the German units are a little more specific, they got to worry about things like command ranges. They've got to keep their HQs real close, have them sticking in there. The Soviet units, they're activating by color. They're just kind of willy-nilly. Let's block the roads and keep the Germans pinned in. A little bit easier. So I'm going to play the hands of cards that the Germans have, right? But when it comes to the Soviets, I drew them a hand of cards, right? Their activation cards. And as far as their activations go, I'm just going to flip the top card and activate whatever's there. I know there's no HQs on the board yet. So unless it's calling for putting an HQ on the board, more than likely it's just going to be activating whatever set of color units are downlisted on the bottom of the card, which you guys will see. I think that's going to work well for me as far as actually trying to solo these guys. And another concession I'm making as far as the combat cards go, I'm going to limit myself to one combat card play for combat as far as the Germans go, and the Soviets can play one in retaliation, which again, I'll just draw the top one off their little deck of combat cards if I choose to use one of my cards. So if I use a card, they're going to use a card to fight back at me. Now, this is not in the rules. This is my little add-in as a solitaire component. Okay, so like I said, when we're starting off here, Germans always get the first turn. I've got a selection of cards. Looking at my cards, it either gives me a formation, like double X's. Remember, that's on the counter right there at the bottom center of it. Or it tells you a division that you can activate, like the 6th Panzer Division here. I've got a couple of Romanian infantry. We've got another 6th Panzer. Got the 23rd Panzer, which actually I think that's the same. Yeah, this the top and the bottom is the same. There isn't really a top or bottom. It's just what you're activating. That's my mistake on reading the card. But regardless, that's who I have my choices of activating. And I think since I got a couple of 6th Panzer, I've got 123rd Panzer, and I got 2 of the Romanian infantry. I want to start with probably one of these 6 Panzers because the 6 Panzers are here. Romanian infantry are tucked back here and way up north in the corner. And actually, let me lift my camera here and show you guys who I'm talking about. My thought process as far as these guys go is there's not enough of them to do any real breakout here unless they get some real lucky dice rolls. They're too weak sauce over here. There is a little bit of a river running here. So I'm thinking as I try to pull these guys back, run them, all right? Bring that 7th Army group here back down so they can join in with the main group and cover their flanks. Because otherwise, those 4 units are just going to go to waste. The Soviets would be easily able to keep them pinned in and not do anything, right? So it's just 4 losses for the German side. Anything I can break out down over here can help. That way, the rest of these units can push up into the center. Because as far as it goes here, there's actually not a whole lot of Soviet units. We do have a tank here we have to worry about. But the rest of this looks like rather weak infantry. This is a 1, 1, 1. There's a 2 here, 2 here, 2 here. 1, 2, 2. So they've only got a few decent infantry units right here. And they are guarding crossroads, right? So they're guarding these roads up, these train tracks. Train tracks, roads, they're used interchangeably. So they're effectively the same thing. But each one of my onboard panzer divisions does have access to a stug because you get 2 of these white stugs that you can add to any German unit. I decided to just give 1 to each of the German units, the panzer units that are on the board, give them a little extra firepower, a little bit extra punch to try to poke their way through. All right, so looking at our map here is our HQ for our 6 Panzers. We see here he's got a command range. Actually, let me pick him up so you guys can see really easily. Looking at this HQ unit, he's got a command range of 4 and a movement factor of 6, and I don't want him to get stuck out, right? I don't want him to be in the front, but I need to keep all the German units in this 6 Panzer within 4 hexes of him. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This little, what is this, motorized infantry, I think, or one of those 2. I can't remember that. I think that's motorized. I know the oval in the center is motorized. Forget what the little dots mean. But anyway, this little infantry unit up here is kind of at its extent of range. I need to bring them back in and focus my attacks in this direction. I think we're going to try to push up over here and try to shoot for this crossing. See if we can take control of it. There's 2 tanks up here. We'll have to guard our flanks because they could easily swoop down. But right now they're guarding those bridge crossings, not knowing which one I'm going to go for. But they still have to worry about, because if they pull down this way, that enables the 23rd Panzers to come around. All right, I need to start moving stuff because I'm loving theory crafting here. Okay, let me think. I've got 6 movement points. They're on the road. That's 1 movement point apiece. And just so you guys know, terrain effects chart right here tells you the MP cost of moving along any of this good stuff, and then any of the effects it's going to have on combat, and then stuff like blocking zones of control. Like you can't exert a zone of control across a river or across a bridge rather, or an unbridged river that blocks those zones of control, which is a good thing. But we do have minor roads, major roads, rails. Those are kind of what we're shooting for. And they're all effectively the same thing when it comes to the map itself. They're just differentiated just so we know what they are. So if I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, get him up here. That will allow him to exert his command radius out to there, and I can bring the rest of the guys around to kind of guard him. Looking at it, I actually think I'm going to play a combat card early and try to do something here, which I know I would have to give. The Soviets, maybe a combat card back, but what I'm looking at here, I can do this anytime. General event, an enemy infantry step is removed, German player's choice. Remove after successful play, discard if not successful. I need a 3 or less on this. And what I'm thinking is if I can remove this Soviet infantry step, that removes some of those zones of control that are there and will make it easier for me to bring in units as support over here. That way I can kind of pinch off this guy as well and guard around. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to play this. We're going to actually start with a card. Got my little dicers here. We're going to roll. Hopefully we get a 3 or under. Come on. Roll low for me one time, baby. No! Oh, crap. That didn't work. That sucks. All right. Well, that carefully laid plan didn't do jack squat, so we're going to put this in the discard instead of the removal. All right, so if I had been successful, I would have lost this card, but as it is, I do get to draw it again later. All right, that means I got to hold here on this because I wanted this zone because there's zones of control all out into here, and I wanted this one gone so I could move more guys up. But I think we'll just take and do it a different way. All right, so let's get all our guys moved up as best we can because they're all in supply. I don't have to worry about that now. We'll go 1, 2, 3. We'll stop there. And we'll take this motorized infantry as well. If I do the tank, then that's combined arms and they'll get a shift. And he should have enough. Yep, with a stug. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll do the stug instead. Because like I said, that's going to get him combat shift. So we're going to have to worry about that tank, but I'd rather deal with the tank later. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or just 3, rather. Do I have 2 units here? I think I do have 2 units here. 1, 2, 3. And I should have 2 tanks. They've got 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Okay, here we go. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. He has to stop there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bring him on for backup. 1, 2. I could bring him around over to here for extra support, but I don't want to hang that tank out, but we gotta do this. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Have our HQ right here in the back. So we've kind of consolidated all of our forces, right? Ooh, I forgot this guy. Got to bring him in. He's got 6 movement points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll use him to guard the HQ, actually, because if your HQ is out, it can be overrun and taken out. So we don't want that to happen. We'll keep him covered up. That way, now we've got a nice little block, and I can exert some attacks. I can do an attack this way, have him combine in, have these guys do a combined attack. Wait, no, I can't. That's across a river. Yeah, we're not going to be able to attack across that river. Tanks can't attack across a river hex side like that. And that means I can't do an attack there either. There's another river hex side. Okay, well, we can at least wipe out this infantry here. I've taken control of the bridge, and we can skirt around over here. Where's the other bridge? There's the other bridge. So this is what we actually need to gain control of. Is there a tank there? No. So I'll tell you what, instead of moving this guy as such that he would have gone here, I would move him as such that he'd go here because I'd rather have the tank with the combined arms bonus. I'm not as worried about losing infantry. I'd rather keep the tanks going. Okay, so unfortunately, since there are so many river hex sides here, I'm not going to be able to get too much of an attack going. Now, I could do some attacks across these river hex sides, but tanks, like I said, just flat out can't attack, and you can't have a combined arm bonus So there's really no reason to do it. I'd lose a lot. Like if I attacked here, it'd be 2-1 at a negative modifier. I'd be losing so much that it'd almost be 1-1. It's not worth conducting the attack. So if we do the main attack here, that's easily going to be 7-1 because we can combine everything in, saying they're all attacking. So that's 8. Let's see, 10 combat factors. Yeah, he's overly whelmed. So basically, we've got 7-1 on our combat table here. So it really doesn't matter what we roll. We do have to roll to see if either one of these happen. But he's pretty well obliterated because the worst I can get is a 1 DR, which is 1 defender step loss and a retreat. They've only got a single step, so they are going to lose that step. But let's roll for that attack and see what happens. 3, it's not going to affect anything, so no unit generation. But the Soviets did lose a step. Yay! Now, here's the thing. I could perform an advance after combat, and I'm not sure. Do I want to do that? It says tanks can. So I could advance both my tanks in there, but I kind of don't want to. I'd rather do it. And, well, if I go ahead and move my tanks in, then the tanks might be able to push across, because I'd like to get someone across this river hex side before that tank can park itself there, because otherwise I'm going to have to attack him, and the best I could get is 2-1 odds with the combined arms shift. So let's go ahead and move our tanks up. On my next activation, I can move things around and try to get those guys there. But I know I don't have to worry about him attacking across this river. He can't. The only place he could try to stage an attack would be over here at the bridge. So I'm pretty well safe from there, and he's definitely not going to attack into that unless he's suicidal. All right, so we did complete our first combat event, but I did forget I need to draw a combat card. We're going to draw this and play it for its general event for the Soviets. What do we have general event wise? After combat, 1 combat negates 1 retreat result, so that's not going to affect anything. I'm going to shuffle this back into their deck. I'm not going to use it for them since that doesn't affect them. And again, me doing stuff like that, that's not in the rules. That's me just, hey, let's play it solitaire a little bit. Top card of the Soviet activation deck is going to be the green units, which is good because I didn't want it to be that guy. Anything but that guy. Green units of 1 army. See, I could do either HQ. That's what this top crap means, or this. They, again, don't have any HQs on the board, so it's green units of 1 army, which is probably going to be the Southern Army since they're the ones that are closest. And they've got green units spread all the hell over. Now, one thing I did forget to mention actually earlier, and let me pan the camera over, is when it comes to another component that I am ignoring for solitaire play, and it's these command level cards. It's basically you can put down a card here and it's guaranteed to play, and that the opponent can't do anything to stop it, and if it has a die roll needed for it, something like that, you automatically get the success. Since I'm doing some blind draws for the opponent here, I'm ignoring this, so I'm not giving myself the ability to have a guaranteed win on a card, but I'm not giving it to the AI either. So for me, I'm just going to use that as a discard spot. Help organize my stuff. All right, so looking here, green units of 1 army. We got a green unit here. We got a green unit here. There's 1 up there, 1 over there. Tank there. Or I could do green units of the red army, but they're way farther back, so it'd probably be better to do this. So I could at least try to move this guy to where he could get over here and support this tank. He's got 5 movement points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. trying to bring him around to support there. This guy's already holding a crossroads. I don't really want to move him. In fact, I would like to get more units over to him to help gain control of that, so the Germans can't use these roadways, right? So I don't know that I really want to move him. I think he's in a good spot as it is. What about this tank? The tank is also in a good spot because he's guarding a bridge, and it forces the German units to hit this bridge. They're going to have to deal with a tank there. They hit this bridge, they're going to have to deal with a tank there. So I really don't want to move any one of those guys. And I would like to reinforce this infantry. I'd have to get something else over there. Now looking up here, the Soviets do have one there, and I believe that's it. Nope, and another one over there. So they could do those two. Could move him in to try to bring some support in this direction. But the thing is, I kind of know that I'm not going this way, so it's a toss-up. But yeah, we're going to bring him in. We're going to do that. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll leave him there. And that's just one green unit. Let's see, that's couldn't have, well, he could cross there and try to attack, but it's against stronger infantry, so he would need support. But at least he would be there if they choose to go across. That's something. I could activate them later. Or I could bring him down this way to try to choke him off. All right, let's go 1, 2, and I think I'm going to stop him there, not attack, but see if I can reinforce him later. Maybe bring this was his purple color here across to support him and then conduct an attack. But at least him being there, he's exerting a zone of control. He's being a nuisance to these Romanian infantry units that are here. That way they can't just cross the bridge, and it gives them the option to attack over there unless they want to worry about their flanks. So I think we're going to do that with him. All right, and I have one more green unit here. And I think I want to bring him down here because look at how many bridges. There's 1, 2, 3 bridges all funneling into one hex. There's one here, there's one here, and there's one here. So if the Soviets can get units into these hexes, a couple of units are pretty much the stacking limit here, but that's sealing off the entrance into A and B. The only other option for the Germans is to come around this way, so that leaves one bridge to protect. So basically 4 hexes here that the Soviets have to try to protect. So yeah, let's do that. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Can he get there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he can get there. Bring him down here. That way he's starting to guard there, and I want to move more Soviet units towards these rivers. Again, my goal isn't as much to attack with the Soviet units as to just put them in the most irritating spots for the German units to slow them down, to exert those zones of control, to force them to stop at these bridgeheads and have to fight their way through. And if they can't, get them stuck there for a little while. Especially if they get stuck there for a turn, that's really going to hurt them. And boom, just like that, we're done with the first round of activation. I know it took a little bit of time, but it's really not that hard. I would spend more time talking through my strategy than anything else. But remember, when you are activating these units, you have to make sure that they are in lines of supply, that they're not out of supply. It's not a big deal when we're first starting out. All the units can easily trace back supply to their own respective sides, but that is going to change as you start pushing up, especially for the Germans, because they have to cover their flanks. Otherwise, they could end up getting cut off by the Soviets. And if you get a whole formation that suddenly is out of supply, that's going to wreak havoc on them. All their stats are going to drop. That might be actually what I use these crappy Romanian infantry for, is just to kind of screen the flanks to keep the Soviet units out of their sides once I push them back. All right, let's do one more quick round here, activation. Let me activate some Romanian infantry because I got a card for them, and I can do this a couple of times, and I want to get these guys moving. First off, let's look here at the top. I know I got them way up there, but I want to get those guys out of there. All right, I've got, like I said, 4 units, and I'd rather get them in here, these 4 units somewhere along here to kind of screen this, and maybe just create a corridor heading this way and try to funnel the Soviet units and kind of keep them blocked off with all these Romanian forces here, the cavalry and the 2 infantry units. But that'd be one hell of a line that they had to build. No wonder the Germans failed at this mission. All right, these guys are slow too because they're just flat out infantry. Their HQ is there. He's got more movement, but I don't want to leave him alone. So if I went 1, 2, 3, bring him all the way down. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to ignore him. 1, 2, 3. Bring them around over here. Like I said, I got to try to do something with them because they're just, if they stay in that corner, they're going to die. There's nothing they can do there. They can't break out, not in any real meaningful way, not with all these rivers here. So that does better for them. Let's try to use, because we're going to be making a punch with the 23rd Panzers. We're going to be making a punch with the 6th Panzers. They're all faster than these Romanian units. So the Romanian units are going to kind of cover these flanks. Where's their HQ? Should be over here somewhere. Here's the Romanian HQ. He's right here in the center. So I want to move him just up a little bit. But we're going to activate all these guys. And I want to try to clear these 2 infantry. So let's hit him as best we can here. See, I can get him 1, 2, 3. I can get him to there and get him to there. Okay, so most of these guys are back behind this bridgehead. There's bridge here, bridge here. That's going to slow them down a little bit. I might not be able to get as many forces as I wanted on him. If I move him over to there, I can move him to there. That's at least 4 attacking that one. I'd like to get 6 attacking on him, at least get 3-to-1 odds on them would be nice. But if that's the HQ, this guy can go up. This guy can make it 1, 2, 3. And this guy could if he was at a bridge, but he can't. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I can get him there too. All right, so let's move the ones we can. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to go 1, 2. He has to stop because he had zone of control. Now, do I go here to support that to give me the full combat value? This one's going to go 1, 2, 3. That'll give me 2. And this one's going to go 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm going to have 1 weaker attack. There's nothing I can do about it. All right. Let's hit this one harder. So we'll go 1, 2, 3. And then we'll go 1, 2, 3. And this one, oh wait, there's 2 here. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we'll have him go there. And with these 2, we'll go 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Perfect. All right, there we go. Now I've got 6-to-1 or 6-to-2, 3-to-1 odds. That's perfect. I'm happy with that. 1, 2, 3. We'll go 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Kind of try to bunch them in. I think, well, no, he's got to be there to exert his command radius out. Yeah, we'll go there with it. Well, if I pull him back and have him stacked with the infantry, he could still exert his zone of control out as far as needed. Have all of them still in command. So I'll have him finish there instead. He's got plenty of movement points to meet there, and I'd rather have him protected. I don't want to get him attacked and destroyed. All right, first attack. We're going to do this one here, looking at the odds. All right, so they're both in clear terrain, so we're not going to have anything to worry about. And looking at it, we've got 3-to-1 odds as far as the attack goes, and it's just infantry, so I don't get any tank shifts, unfortunately. That's not going to matter. Do I have anything else? Any die roll modifiers? Nope, because it's just plain. So it's just 3-to-1. Middle of the road, 2 attacks going. We'll see how this works. All right, first attack. Come on. Big number for daddy. We got to clear out some of these Russian infantry. All right, that we're going to re-roll. Because that would not go good. That would be an attacker step loss and a retreat if Axis unit attacks, and they would get an ad hoc infantry. I am going to use a combat card. Which one of these? I'm going to use this one. Re-roll any one of your die. Again, I am definitely using that. I do not want that die going. All right, come on. I need something better. Come on, big number, big number, big number. 4. 4 I'll take. 1 I won't take. And that is going to give us defender retreat. Shoot, I wanted something better. But that's okay. That is okay. He's just got to knock back 1 hex, so he'll draw back to there. At least it's clearing him out. I can't advance after combat. These groups are attacking. This hex is the main one, and then there, but that's 6 combat factors, so we still got 3-to-1. And let's roll it. Let's see what we're going to get here. Big money, big money. 2. Is that nothing? You know what? That's a nothing. I'll leave it as a no effect. I'll take that versus anything else. I will, since I did this, play a combat card for the Soviets, though. For the general effect. Ooh, place the 2nd Guard HQ. So their HQ is on the board now. And boom, just like that, this little HQ marker actually pops out on the board, and he is the HQ for all the Red Army forces. There is one more. Was it the 51st? Yeah, 51st Army here. Is not on the board, but there is another Soviet combat card that will place him on the board in a specific hex as well. All right, so that's just a quick example of play of the game. I'm trying to keep this around 30 minutes. I think I've gone just a touch over, but this is a fun one, and it's I want to say basic, but it's not like basic isn't basic. It's got all the traditional war game tropes that you're going to expect. But like I was saying, if you've played a war game, then you're going to pretty well know the rules, right? The basic stuff you're looking for. Bridge heads are important. Not attacking across rivers, die roll modifiers, column shifts. You want to get the best combat odds that you can. You want to attack with combined forces if possible. Stuff like that. You know, the basic tropes, right? Staying in lines of communication, being able to trace it back all to one side or the other. So if you've played any amount of war games before, all you really have to do is learn the specifics of this war game to get her to the table. And it really comes down to the Donnerschlag implementation. Now, I was thinking about playing this solitaire. How do you incorporate that into it? And what I was thinking, instead of knowing which one of these is the true one and which one is the dummy one, is to shuffle them up and do them random, right? And see whether or not you struck out into the right one. Were the escaping forces able to meet you at the right meeting spot, right? Did the lines of communication work that the meeting actually took place? Now, that's just my like ad hoc idea for playing it solitaire. I think it would work. There's, 33% chance that you're going to succeed, I guess. Because honestly, I almost think that the Soviet units can easily be solitaired, played solo, in the fact that they don't have to do a whole lot of movement, especially at the beginning. They can really just be fortressed. They really just need to be moved into the most irritating positions for the German forces. Wherever the German forces mass, put Soviet units in the way, in the direction that they have to cross. Cover these bridgeheads, right? Make it to where they can't just get to them easily. And bam, there you go. If you've got units like these up here, all they have to do is start marching down the board and ensure that the German player rather, is ensuring his lines of communication, all right, his lines of supply. If he just moves up as a bunch and doesn't cover his backside, then he's going to be out of supply, and all of his units can then be encircled and crushed, just like is happening to the Sixth Army. So yeah, I think as far as playing this game solitaire, it works better playing the Germans and then having the Soviet side kind of be the AI, and the fact that you just push them into the most irritating places and then just kind of swarm down onto your own forces. Unfortunately, playing it solitaire, there is no real way to feint your opponent, make them think you're going for B and when you're really going for A, or something like that. You just don't have that ability. You have to have that secret information with the opponent to be able to really work that. Otherwise, I think playing the activation cards, just drawing the top card, playing it out, seeing what happens, gives you enough randomization to not be able to know for sure what the opposing forces are going to do. So I think that works as well. And again, I think that works for the Soviet side, maybe not as much for the German side. But yeah, this is a fun one that I think would be nice for an evening to sit down with and see if the German forces can actually make their objective. Can they get out? Can they break the hold and let the supplies flow through? Or will the Soviet forces be successful once again? The only thing I will say is make sure you don't give yourself too much of an advantage by forgetting to play combat cards for the AI, which I did there a little bit there at the end. If you play one for yourself, make sure you play one for the AI, something like that. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the playthrough. If you got any questions, feel free to put it down below. That's going to be it for this one. You guys take care. I'll catch you in the next one.